All right, everybody, buckle up because today we're diving headfirst into some seriously mind-bending tech. OpenAI's O1 models. We've all heard the buzz about AI being the future, but these O1 models are something else entirely, right? I mean, we're talking about machines that can actually reason, not just crunch data.
It's a whole different ball game, that's for sure.
Exactly. And while researching for this deep dive, one thing really blew me away. Apparently, the next O1 update is already going toe-to-toe with PhD students in solving these incredibly complex scientific problems. Like, seriously, matching the brainpower of someone with a doctorate. That speaks volumes about the potential here.
What's really got people talking is that this isn't just about making AI a bit smarter. It's a fundamental change, a whole new approach to how these models work.
So less about incremental upgrades and more about a complete paradigm shift.
Precisely. OpenAI seems to have cracked the code, so to speak, on this whole reasoning thing, and that's what has everyone so excited.
You know, going through all the research material, one word kept popping up: process. OpenAI keeps emphasizing the process of how O1 arrives at its answers, not just the answers themselves.
That's because it's not about spitting out instant results anymore, like we've seen with some earlier AI. It's about taking a step-by-step, deliberate approach to reasoning.
It's almost like how we humans think, isn't it? Instead of just pulling up the answer from some massive mental database, it's more like figuring out a puzzle by carefully considering each piece and fitting them together logically.
A great way to put it. And that's where this chain of thought concept comes in.
Chain of thought.
Yeah, the idea that OpenAI can actually track the model's thought process as it works through a problem. And this is huge because it gives us a glimpse into how the AI thinks, which is essential for ensuring safety as these models become even more complex.
This chain of thought thing is truly mind-blowing. But can you give us a real-world example of how it plays out?
Absolutely. Take that recent coding challenge where O1 Preview not only nailed the solution, but did it in a way that mirrored how a skilled human programmer would approach it.
Interesting.
It wasn't just about generating correct code, it was about understanding the logic behind it, breaking the problem down into manageable steps, and then piecing those steps together for a really elegant solution.
Wow. Okay, now I'm really starting to see the power of this chain of thought concept. It's like being able to peek inside the AI's brain and see the gears turning.
Exactly. It allows us to move past the black box of AI and into a world where transparency and understanding are possible.
So we've established that O1 is all about reasoning and problem solving, not just being a walking encyclopedia. But what does that actually mean in terms of its capabilities? What can it do?
Well, the range of tasks it can tackle is already pretty impressive and growing rapidly, but it's important to understand that OpenAI has been very deliberate in how they're developing O1.
How so?
They're focusing on those complex problems that require real brain power, prioritizing deep reasoning over tasks like basic information retrieval.
So it's not just about having access to a ton of data, like some supercharged search engine. It's about being able to understand and reason its way through intricate scenarios.
Exactly. And that distinction is key as we start digging into the specifics of what sets O1 apart from anything we've seen before.
So we know O1 is all about deep reasoning, not just being a know-it-all. But how does that actually translate into real-world skills? What can this thing do that has everyone so hyped up?
Well, one area that's turning heads is coding. And I'm not just talking about writing simple scripts. O1 is showing a knack for understanding really complex programming concepts, optimizing code like a pro, even coming up with solutions that seasoned programmers might miss.
I heard rumors about it even competing in those coding competitions, like going up against actual human coders and winning. Is there any truth to that?
Well, it's not just rumors, it's happening. Sources have confirmed that O1's been going head-to-head with some top programmers, and the results, well, let's just say they've been pretty impressive.
Okay, color me impressed. But coding is just one thing, right? What about other fields? Where else is O1 showing potential?
Another field that's buzzing is scientific research. Imagine an AI that can not only analyze huge amounts of data and spot patterns, but can actually come up with hypotheses, plan experiments, even interpret the findings, and I'm talking about doing all that with the kind of insight you'd expect from a human researcher.
So it's like having a super-powered research assistant working around the clock.
Yeah.
No need for sleep or coffee breaks with this one.
Pretty much, yeah. Though, now that you mention it, the idea of grabbing a coffee with an AI that can discuss complex scientific theories is kind of intriguing, isn't it?
I'm not gonna lie, that does sound kind of cool.
Yeah.
But let's switch gears for a sec and talk limitations. We know O1's got some serious chops, but it can't do everything, at least not yet. What are its current limitations?
You're right, no technology is perfect. One thing O1 can't do yet is directly access the internet. Unlike some other AI models out there, O1 isn't constantly scouring the web, soaking up new info in real time.
Which seems a bit odd, doesn't it? You'd think something designed to be a reasoning powerhouse would benefit from having access to all that information online.
It's a deliberate choice by OpenAI. They're focused on building that powerful reasoning engine first, making sure its core capabilities are rock solid. Connecting it to the internet, which can be a bit of a wild west of information, is something they're approaching very carefully.
Yeah, that makes sense. Too much info all at once could be overwhelming, even for an AI.
Exactly. And it's not like O1 will be off the grid forever. It's more about timing and strategy. OpenAI is carefully considering the best way to give it that level of access, making sure it aligns with their overall vision for O1.
So we've covered quite a bit here, from the chain of thought to Owen's skills in areas like coding and scientific research, even its current limitations. But there's one big question I think we still need to address. Why?
Why indeed?
Why is OpenAI putting so much energy into developing this tech? What's the big picture goal?
The million-dollar question. OpenAI has been a little quiet about their ultimate vision, but they have hinted at a future where AI isn't just a tool, but more like a partner, a collaborator.
A collaborator, what would that look like?
Imagine working alongside an AI that not only gets what you're asking, but can actually anticipate your needs, understand the nuances of your goals, and contribute to solving problems in a truly collaborative way.
Okay, now we're getting into some next level stuff, almost science fiction-esque. But it's exciting to think about. The potential benefits across so many fields are immense, from speeding up scientific discoveries to transforming entire industries, even just simplifying our daily lives.
Exactly. But it's also a future that requires careful thought. Like any game-changing technology, we need to be mindful of the potential downsides, the unintended consequences, those ethical questions that might pop up as we venture further into this new territory.
We've spent a lot of time now unpacking the potential of O1, all the things it can do. But as with any revolutionary technology, we need to look at both sides of the coin, right? It can't all be sunshine and roses.
Absolutely. We can't just get caught up in the excitement of what O1 can do. We have to think about the potential challenges, too, the implications of such powerful AI, after all, with great power, right?
Comes great responsibility. I can't help but think about that as we discuss this. And one thing that's been bugging me this whole time is the fact that OpenAI is, well, they're keeping some of O1's thinking process under wraps. This whole hidden thoughts thing we talked
Oh,
about.
yes, the transparency issue. It's a tough one. No easy answers.
Because on the one hand, I get it, protecting their intellectual property, maybe mitigating some risks. But on the other hand, this lack of transparency can be a little unnerving. It's like taking your car to a mechanic and they fix it but won't tell you what was wrong or what they did.
I see what you mean. It highlights this real tension in AI development.
Yeah.
Total transparency sounds great in theory, but it's not always possible, or even the best approach.
So then how do we find that balance? How do we make sure there's enough transparency that people understand what's going on without messing up the development process or accidentally creating new risks?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's one that researchers, developers, policymakers, even the public, we all need to work on that together. Open communication is going to be key here.
It's a lot to take in, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, doesn't it all come down to trust? Trusting the people, the organizations building these AI models to do it responsibly, ethically.
Trust is essential, absolutely. And building that trust requires being open, being willing to listen to concerns, and being transparent whenever we can.
Well said. As we start to wrap up this deep dive, is there anything else you think our listeners should keep in mind as they're trying to make sense of all this? About O1, about the future of AI?
The most important thing to remember is this. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's still being written, and we all have a say in how that story unfolds. Stay curious, stay informed, and never be afraid to ask the tough questions.
Wise words to end on. Huge thank you to you for joining me on this incredible deep dive into O1 and the future of AI. It's been a wild ride. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep your minds open to all the amazing possibilities that lie ahead.